welcome to this episode of Tripology. It's a backpacking show where two best friends call each other up and share travelling stories. And this week is an ever such a special show because I'm here, actually in the same physical realm as the ever physically here, Adam.
You introduced the show as us calling each other up, and that's not what's happening now because I'm sitting right next to you.
Yeah,
in real
our
life.
knees are touching in a manner that can only be described as a little bit saucy. I'm trying to focus and dial in on the show anyway, but here we are in the same physical room. Adam, you've come and visit me in Japan.
Well, you wouldn't expect anything less because let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Uh-oh.
It's your birthday.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. You've put on quite a lot of weight since last time I've seen you.
What have I told you about eating ramen every single day?
Yeah, it's my B day.
Yeah, not bidet.
No, but that is something I do like about Japan is the B days.
Mm-hmm. Have you had a birthday B-day? A B-day B-day?
No, not yet, actually.
Okay. Well, we'll give you one afterwards, will we?
It's nearly 6 p.m.
Yeah, in the Patreon section, Lost and Found, link in the description.
Yeah, if that doesn't convince you. What's my birthday B-day? Yeah, mate, I love that you're here for my birthday. I like that. It's like a tradition, isn't it? A tripological tradition that you come and visit me on my birthday.
In and around, because last year I was in the Philippines up until the day before your birthday, a couple of days. And then just without us even knowing, coincidentally, I've arrived on the same day that I left the Philippines last year. So, yeah, it's becoming a bit of a tradition, we could say.
I'm going to keep on going to ever more obscure places around my birthday, and then I'll be disappointed if you don't turn up.
Now, so I've set the precedent.
Next year, I'm going pretty deep into the Arctic.
Arctic?
I'm going deep, yeah. I want a polar birthday.
So we've done, well, there are some pretty exotic destinations.
Yeah, and the Arctic's one of the only ones where you can't have a birthday B-day. So no birthday, it's an icicle by the time it gets out there.
Yeah, different kind of ring sting.
You don't want an icicle anywhere near your anus. And I'll tell you that from personal experience.
What am I doing here? Did we tease the idea that I'd be in Japan?
Only in the Patreon section, because our Patreonies, having spent a little money on the show, they get a little bit of saucy extra information. So they maybe had an inkling that you were coming. But for the audience at large, they had no idea.
They had absolutely no idea. So you just think that we've been calling each other up from different parts of the world, which is true. I mean, the last couple of episodes I've been in Thailand.
Yeah.
Bangkok and then Khon Kaen. And now I've decided that I didn't want you to be in Tokyo on your own because it can be quite isolating. You know, Japanese culture, as amazing as it is, isn't the most warm, welcoming, open and friendly.
I find Tokyo, Japan, and birthdays, all three of those things, quite isolating in some ways.
Why birthdays?
I think
It's all about you.
birthdays can be an isolating time. If you're not careful, you can feel lonelier. You know, like when you're in a bad relationship, it feels lonelier than when you're on your own.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're a twin. If you're an identical twin, birthdays are probably quite cool.
It's the only time it's a social event.
Yeah. Get everyone round.
Yeah,
You've got the same friends, though, haven't you?
That's why I'm going to try and have twins later on in my life.
Do they run in the family?
No, but I'm going to do quite a lot of IVF.
How does that even work?
That increases the chance of twins a lot.
Does it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. If you want twins, a little tip for you. IVF.
Big tip. But how are you feeling? You all right? You hungry?
Yeah. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm 32.
32
Which
years
I know
old.
might be a surprise to some, but it's the age I am. I'm still not the age that Jesus was when he died, which I've long had my sights set on as being like the age to be.
To die at? Or...
No, just to be.
Okay.
And once you've beaten Jesus for longevity, I know he had some setbacks, but you are onto a winner.
Yeah, but surely you also question what you've achieved in your life. Like, you know, Jimi Hendrix was 27 when he died, and he's one of the greatest guitarists of all time and had a massive influence on how people
And what you're
play
trying to
the
say,
electric-
that Jesus in his life did a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
did quite a lot, apparently.
He
So
did,
they say.
he did a lot in a short amount of time. I think that is good. But one thing he didn't do is live a long time.
Well, even by old standards.
Yeah, he
died young.
in his prime.
Was that the first time he died or the second?
He didn't die the second time.
He just lived forever.
In Islam, he's one. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about Islam on the show, but
Especially not on your birthday.
in Islam, he's the only prophet that's still alive.
Really?
Yeah.
Somewhat similar to Hanuman, the monkey.
The only Hindu god that's still alive.
He's in amongst us somewhere.
You know you've chosen the right podcast host when I bring up Jesus and Muhammad in quick succession and he ties in Hinduism, because we're multicultural, multi-global, we're a travelling podcast, we're liberal as all hell, and we're here in the same room. So that's nice, isn't it?
Really nice, really nice. It wouldn't be a birthday in Japan without a little birthday surprise. Now, on that table over there,
I can see it.
you can see it. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to celebrate Alan's birthday.
All right.
With a little sing-song, and then I've got him a cake over there. If you can call it a cake, it's generous.
Okay, yeah, I can see it. It looks quite viscous for a cake.
Yeah.
Quite liquid. I'm excited about this. This is the second time we recorded this show. We tried to do it this morning, and
said, "There's no cake. We've got to cancel the show."
Yeah, so we cancelled that show. No, actually, the mics were switched off, which is one of my only jobs when we set up the show.
They weren't switched off. There was a technical issue.
Well, yeah, the technical issue was the mics weren't switched on. So that's a problem. Do you want me to? Would you want to do that now? You want me to hold your mic, or you go and get that, or is that for later?
And if you can just sort of
I'll
pretend you're me and you.
Let me tell you guys about Hanuman a little bit. He's a monkey god. He's the only god in Hinduism that's still on planet Earth, existing, swinging around the forests. And by that very nature, he's revered and worshipped. He was assistant to Ram, one of the incarnations of Vishnu, if you're interested in that. Here it is. The cake's arrived.
If you could just now hold it to my mouth, because I've got to go and show this to the camera so the fans can see what I'm getting you.
All right. Yeah, cool. Well, it's nice of you. I don't subscribe normally. I don't eat a cake every birthday, but when I do, I make sure it's from 7-Eleven. You're off mic, Adam, but Adam said get a load of that, you guys, and he's really...
It's good enough.
Yeah, amazing.
So
we'll cut around it.
No, it's lovely. It's lovely. It adds a bit of atmosphere, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Bit of environment, a bit of authenticity.
All right,
bit of
good.
Room. So what this is it's a 7-Eleven special.
Okay, yeah, amazing.
I do think something that epitomises Japan and a lot of people's daily lives, actually, in your case, is the konbini, the convenience store. This is 7-Eleven. We've previously learned that 7-Eleven is probably your favourite convenience store.
Yeah, it really is a part of my daily life. Thus the elephant in the room.
And you'll be able to read that. But just for our
248 calories. It just says pudding.
It says pudding. That last word, which this is probably boring if you can't read the hiragana. I did do a little Google Translate,
or if you can,
which has been quite useful actually.
Yeah. I introduced Adam to the joys of Google Translate and how it could replace real world text with translated versions.
Yeah, the only problem is with Google Lens and using the translation is it doesn't tell you how to pronounce the Japanese word. It just tells you what the literal translation is in English.
Yeah, I mean, it's just translating it for you.
No, I know that, but I would quite like to have maybe a two, so I could see how to pronounce it in Japanese if I want to say it.
Well, I mean, it's a different app, isn't it? It's Duolingo that you want there.
Is it Duolingo?
Well,
has it got a camera function?
It's not a language learning app. It's a translation tool.
No, that's fair enough. You have got a point, obviously, but maybe if there is an app builder out there, I'd like to work with you. We would, Tripology.
Yeah. Imagine Google Translate, but every time you take a picture of something, an owl swoops down and tells you the vocab.
We've already lost that sponsorship. This actually translates to smooth oven-baked pudding.
Oh.
So how are we going to open this with just one hand?
I'll do it. I can open it with one hand. That's one of my skills.
He's incredibly dexterous, even on his birthday.
I've done the first half already. Done the second half.
And he is right-handed. Wow.
Patreon subscribers, remember the time I opened a pistachio nut with chopsticks? One of the greatest episodes of Patreon ever. Link in the description if you want to see that.
So happy birthday to you.
Thanks so much.
Happy birthday.
And that's the license. We got to stop their royalties.
Okay. So I'm just going to pop this spoon in here. Do you know how hard it was to find a spoon in your kitchen?
I know. I've got them all in my room because I use them to put creatine in my coffee.
Oh, really?
So hold on a second. This is baked in an oven, is it? It looks like it's barely been baked for a second. It's almost entirely liquid.
Is that too much for one person?
I don't know. Do you feed that to me, do you?
I'm going to, yeah.
All right. Okay.
So just for anyone who doesn't know, if they think, well, where are they? Why are they both together? I'm now living in Alan's house.
Yeah, and for anyone who thinks, why is Adam feeding Alan this pudding? We actually went viral on Instagram a number of years ago for a reel that we filmed in India in which Adam feeds me food. And the number of homophobia in the comment section of that reel, if you're interested in seeing what hatred looks like, go into the comment section of our Instagram on one of our reels where Adam feeds me a vada pav. And we just had a lot of abuse leveled at us, didn't we, for being...
Yeah, apparently in India they don't appreciate that. So here we go. You got to give us... a review. of what you think it's like? Because it's your birthday
I
cake.
don't expect it to be bitter.
Is it bitter? Well, that'd be the caramel at the bottom, won't it?
Is caramel bitter?
Yeah.
I
Well,
thought it was literally burnt sugar.
Yeah.
Mm.
Burnt
Wow.
often. So I've had one of those before. I've had 2 of those before, actually. And I think they are good value for money. Actually, they're better than you would think they would be.
It's a creme brulee without the hard top.
Exactly.
It's a creme brulee without the hard top. You've all had it. You've all had it.
But given, I'll tell you what we should do, mate, because this is going to be about Japan and about my arrival in Japan this episode.
Sorry, I should have fed you there. My
That's all right.
apologies. I'm a bit of a rude
A
human.
lot of vanilla.
Yeah. All right.
But, ASMR, is that what it is?
Yeah. Autosensory meridian response, Adam referring to there. The tingling sensation that some people get when people do certain noises over a microphone. Autosensory meridian response.
Yeah, what I was going to say was we've been quite vocal off mic over the last 48 hours that we've been together. I arrived on Friday, it's now Monday, Alun's birthday. And we've been talking a lot about England and the UK and British cuisine and the level of cookery and quality ingredients that you get in even a supermarket or a convenience store in comparison to the UK. And I did say the exact phrase, "We are getting shafted in the West."
Yeah. And I agree. People don't know how bad they've got it.
I don't think they do. I mean, maybe they do. They think they've got it bad, but when you live in an East Asian country, it's actually so much worse.
You took me to market the other day. We found the most beautiful piece of mackerel sushi with real, genuine mackerel. And it was so beautiful. And I thought, the amount of money that you'd have to invest to have a mackerel like that in the UK,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be possible on a teacher's salary, which I don't have. So I work in 7-Eleven. So it's impossible to get that sort of quality. I totally agree, mate. The food here is incredible. Shall we tell the story of you arriving and go into that a little bit and how it came to be that you're here physically in the same space?
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. Shanghai airport shit.
We've done a whole episode on that. It's the shittest of all the airports if you're in a connecting flight.
Yeah, if you like good airports that are functional and a joy to be in, like Changi in Singapore, for example. It's the Holy Grail.
There's no Wi-Fi in Singapore, Shanghai airport.
Not that works.
No plug sockets, really.
Not that work.
No friendly people.
No. Do you think that airports are somewhere that are known to have friendly people in? Because everyone's in a rush all the time.
You tend to meet friendly people in airports. You make friends often on planes and airports.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
If there's friendly people there, you'll find them.
A Russian man approached me when I was charging my phone with my power bank and asked if I could give him my power bank.
Whilst you were using it?
Yeah, I was about to penetrate my phone with the cable.
And he intercepted?
He said, can I use your power bank?
Before that USB cable goes in there,
Yeah.
how do you know he's Russian?
Because I heard him speaking to his wife in Russian.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Well,
Because he wasn't wearing a T-shirt. No, I don't know.
he's wearing a tracksuit. And he was on the way to his Nha Trang in Vietnam.
Yeah, but the audacity, though, to just approach someone and say, the plug sockets weren't working, in fairness, and maybe we should live in a world where that's normalised. But you can just approach people and say, look, do you mind if I...
You've got something that I want. Communism dictates that I should have a small amount of that for free.
You reckon that's what it is?
Maybe.
He was old enough to remember communism as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. He thought, I will have a small piece of what you're providing in exchange for a good or service that I will in turn provide.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. So
That's communism, baby.
It was difficult, that one, because maybe he thought, he's a smiley guy, he seems friendly.
Yeah.
He would want me to have charge on my phone.
Yeah.
So that set the tone, really. And then I was a little bit, I wouldn't have said worried, but there's a few people walking around Shanghai airport that were creating an atmosphere.
Doing what?
It was 3 big policemen with big guns, and they were perusing, walking around. And then there was a guy who was acting very suspiciously, who got picked up by the 3 policemen.
How suspicious do you have to be to attract attention in Shanghai?
He kept on sort of approaching people in a really strange
Asking
way.
for the power bank?
He approached a few groups so confidently that I assumed that he was with them. And then after approaching many more people, I realised he was just going around chancing his arm at something. But because I don't speak Mandarin, I've got no idea what he was saying.
He was chancing his arm.
Yeah, it was weird. And the reason I tell you that is because it was about 11 o'clock at night. And I went up to the immigration desk And I said, can I just go straight through to transfers because I'm flying tomorrow morning over from Shanghai. It was like a transfer through Shanghai from Bangkok all the way over to meet you in Tokyo. And the guard said, no, you can't come through because your flight is in 12 hours time. It's technically tomorrow morning. So you're going to have to exit. You're basically going to have to enter China, go through the immigration process. And then if you want to stay in the airport, you're more than welcome to.
I think that's ridiculous.
No, I agree.
Let him in.
Let me out. I don't
Let
care.
him in, guys.
But because I was with the riffraff in arrivals, I was a bit worried about going to sleep. You had Russian man asking to borrow my power bank.
Yep.
You had this Chinese guy approaching every Tom, Dick and Harry in the airport, chancing his arm.
They're from the UK.
All three of them, One Direction. And I was going to sleep on my rucksack in the most brightly lit, you know what airports are like. They don't turn the lights off to try and let people sleep.
I almost wish there was some product that we can talk about in a future episode that would have helped you in that environment. But I just don't know if one exists.
No, ironically, I had it in my bag and chose not to use it.
There you go.
I didn't choose not to. I just
yeah.
I pulled my t-shirt over my head to make sure that actually, if you've got Russian man and weird Chinese guy and they're all coming around you sniffing about,
Crikey.
I thought
you said there was no friendly people.
no, but if you act weird yourself and do things that are a bit alternative,
Stop biting your shoes and that sort of thing.
they're less likely to come over and try something, aren't they?
Yeah,
so I was trying to look unapproachable as opposed to my default very.
Welcome to my world, mate. I've practiced for years looking so unapproachable that no one ever bothers me. I've mastered it.
You're an expert. You're an expert.
Adam, I was a bit stressed about you coming this time because there was a dilemma that I want to share with you in the audience, and that is, do you think it's the right thing to do if a loved one, a partner, someone you care about, is coming to see you?
Yeah.
Is it the right thing to do to make the journey to the airport and go and meet them?
It's difficult.
The answer is yes, of course. You should do that. You should do that. But in this case, you're arriving to Narita Airport in Tokyo, which I happen to know is in the Chiba prefecture. You were going there.
I was going there.
That's 2 hours away from my house.
Yeah.
The second you get off that plane,
Yeah.
you're going through immigration, and then you're getting on the bus that takes you to central Tokyo. That's your only option,
Yeah.
basically.
Once I've had a few chats with all the friendly people at Tokyo Narita Airport.
That bus is expensive, and it's another 2 hour bus.
It's 1,500 yen.
Should I get on that bus, come to see you off the plane, then we both get on that bus, go back to Tokyo Central, and then the journey to my house? Or do you say, Adam, just get off the plane and get on that bus, and I'll meet you where the bus gets off in central Tokyo?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that one. But
That's what I did, but I'm feeling that it is a romantic gesture, isn't it, to go to the airport and be there?
yeah, I also that I think it's a bit nuanced because it depends on the nature of the relationship. It depends on how long you haven't seen each other for. It depends on maybe the reason you're even coming, how long the journey is for you. For you to come all the way to meet me just to do the exact journey backward. I mean, if we were doing something in the vicinity, you were still working, by the way.
Yeah, I was working. Yeah, that's true.
So I think for many reasons, I'll let you off. I wasn't expecting you.
Well,
I got to be honest. When I came through into the arrivals hall, even though we'd agreed that we would meet each other
Yeah.
at Tokyo Station, I did think, I know what he's like, though. I do know how much he likes me, and I know how excited he is to see me. I know that he appreciates me flying all the way from Thailand just to come and see him for his birthday. So I'm sure he's probably going to be there.
Did you really? Your expectation was that probably was going to be?
But well, the thought creeps into my mind. I thought, I do know him. I know him. And then after studying the crowd for 45 minutes, I thought, he's not here.
Yeah.
He's not here.
You waited. You were like, oh, must
You
be
text me
late.
saying I'm running late. I was like, oh, God.
Well, I thought about surprising you.
I said, you're not running. I know he's not running.
If anything, you're walking, looking unapproachable. I did think about surprising you, but I decided against it because I just thought logistically it was a bit of an issue. And then there was that one time where I came to visit you in Canada and you didn't meet me at the airport. So
Which airport was that?
Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean, that's a 6-hour drive away from where I was living, which is slightly different.
It's only a few hours longer than the one I was going to have to get you. So
I
is it
think
that different?
It costs about $80 one way to get down to that airport.
Yeah.
So
Well, this costs 1,300 yen. So swings and roundabouts, isn't it? So I think.
And we're both, if I was completely incompetent and it was my first time on an aeroplane,
Yeah.
Actually, talking about first time on an aeroplane.
Oh.
Yeah, I've just had to twig my memory. I wanted to tell this on a previous episode, but I didn't because I think we got sidetracked. On my flight from, would have been Melbourne, actually,
In Australia.
in Australia, to Bangkok.
In Thailand.
Was just a couple of weeks ago.
We're educational.
Geography. There was a young gentleman who was sitting in my row. And the guy sitting next to me, he might listen to the show, actually. Big shout out to you, mate. Great guy. He'll know who he is.
But no one else listening will.
But that's fine. There was a young gentleman who was sitting up against the window, and we all sort of got chatting very early on before the plane had started moving.
Yeah.
And then another gentleman came along, and he said, "Oh, I think you're in my seat." And then the air hostess came over and said, yeah, that's your seat. You need to move. You're actually one row forward. So a bit of a kerfuffle and that sort of stuff. But in that very short time that we were talking to each other, this young gentleman, only 22, 23 years old,
Wow.
he had told us that this was going to be his first international flight of his life.
Wow.
And earlier that day, he had taken his first ever flight. And that was from Tasmania, where he's from, over to Melbourne.
He's ticking it all off. He's doing domestic, he's doing international, he's doing
It
firsts.
was unbelievable. And we said, well, where are you living? Where are you going now? What is it, big holiday? You decided to take yourself away because he was travelling alone. He said, I am going to meet my Russian girlfriend. We've been together for about 8 months and we met online.
And hold on, has he met her before?
Never, first time.
First time he's going to be intimate with his Russian girlfriend as well. What a day
And
for that guy.
You can imagine me and the other guy, we looked at each other and went, oh God.
Oh, God.
We hope to high heaven this is genuine. And it's
yeah.
a real thing. You met online. He looked for what, hopefully there's no offence made.
No way.
But he looked like a gamer. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you're worried that
They met online through a gaming community. So you just never know. But there were a number of stereotypes and cliches happening. And because you hear the horror stories, don't you? And he's such a sweet...
Catfishing, I believe it's called.
Such a sweet kid. Such a sweet kid. So we thought, seems like it could be legitimate. We won't ask too many questions.
Did it seem like it could be legitimate? There was a chance it could be legitimate.
Well, if you don't know all of the other stuff that we're kind of alluding to.
Maybe he's done the checks. Maybe he's done like video call, hold up a newspaper, today's date, that sort of thing. Maybe he's really gone right.
Potentially. I mean, there is also a world that exists whereby all of that could have been true and it was still a scam. So,
Well, there's also a world in which it's all true. He's done all the checks. They're connected. They liked each other. Then he gets there and it's a nightmare. Like what happened to me once.
Oh, really?
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, we don't have to go because it's not about that on your birthday. It's your birthday.
We don't think about those sorts of things on the birthday. But, we've all been in situations where we've liked someone a lot and then it's turned out that maybe they're not right for you after a little while. Very recently it's happened to me.
Yeah.
It happens a lot.
So frequently.
A lot of people are saying it's something about me. It's my fault, some people are saying.
At which point you turn the questions towards yourself and think, hang on, am I the problem?
Hold on. This is the second time this week.
But anyway, we got off the plane and then we walked out into the arrivals hall and there he was with the aforementioned.
No way.
friend.
You got the payoff.
And then we saw they were hugging, kissing, they were, big smiles and stuff. And we kind of looked at him, we did the okay sign, he just gave us a wink and we thought, all right, brilliant.
Hey,
The world is a good
Put
place.
that in your pipe and smoke it, you doubting Thomases.
So that happened. So I've been taking a lot
I'm
of
happy
flights.
for him. I'm really proud of him.
Yeah, so
Because he did the necessary verifications.
he bit the bullet.
And that's really important. It's important to bite the bullet.
Yeah.
The bullet's there for the biting.
If you like someone and you have the appetite to travel and they're in a different country
Yes.
and it's their birthday,
Yes.
go and see them.
I have a lot of opinions about this because, like I say, I'm someone who's met lots of people around the world. Some people I've tried to go and visit. Some people I've persuaded to come and visit me. I think that it's always best to remain open to connection. And the best thing, if someone's the wrong person for you, it's best that you find out as quick as possible. I love it now. If I'm connecting with someone and something happens that means that's not the right person, I think that's great.
Neither of us are going to waste any time.
Thank God I found out now as opposed to in 3 weeks or if I've wasted any more time with you. Someone says something awful or something, or like, a situation occurs where I'm like, oh God, I know now that this isn't the person I want to spend the rest of my life with.
Yeah.
I think, God, isn't it amazing? What a gift that I learned that right now. So you'd always take the chance. Put yourself out there.
Well, do you think that probably two things are true? So we've already covered on this show many times when it comes to building relationships with people when you are traveling, you expedite the process.
Oh, it's expedited to high hell.
Pressure cooker situation, you often say.
Yeah.
But then also, are you in situations that maybe fragment or fracture the relationship? Because you don't really have the time to get to know someone. You don't go on dates, as it were. You don't have a few weeks, 8 weeks or 3 months or whatever, just to get to know someone slowly. You know, go for a dinner, go for a drink, go for a dance, whatever you might want to do. Then all of a sudden, you go around the other person's house. It can happen quite slowly and progressively.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're traveling, you're like, oh my God,
It's
doing
a
the
stress
most
test.
amazing thing you can ever imagine, and it's intense. Oh, you're a nutcase.
It's a stress test, and people crack under pressure sometimes. I have thought it's maybe a problem if you've got to be tolerant still. If someone's like, they've shown you that maybe they're not the right person for you, it is important to like take a deep breath and be like, is this actually a real problem? Not just like, thank God you revealed yourself. You're gone. I'm not suggesting that for a second. Oh, the scales have been lifted from my eyes. Oh, but I just wanted to see if maybe we could do what I wanted to do today. Okay, you're selfish. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that sometimes, people you're encouraged in the intensity of a travel situation. You're encouraged to ask the big questions early on.
Correct. Yeah, I do agree. You often have conversations very early on that maybe would be uncomfortable in some other. But I've heard, this is quite topical. In Japan, there are sort of questions that might be posed very early on in dates, i.e. the first date might often involve a chat about marriage and kids.
Are we a thing? We're just having coffee. Are we a thing? Well, for me, it's just coffee. Sorry, you're not answering my question. Are we a thing? In what context is the coffee occurring? It's occurring outside the context of a thing.
Well, in some ways, that's quite good, isn't it? It's very direct.
I like to know whether it's a thing. And if it is, I'm gone.
Can you imagine that sort of dating culture existed in the West? I think we'd be so turned off, wouldn't we? It'd be strange.
Yeah. Are we a thing?
Me and you.
Podcasters.
We're best friends.
We're best friends with podcasters, and that's all we need to be.
I get caught up sometimes when people say, I've been meeting a lot of wonderful people over the last few weeks, and they say, are you going to Japan? I say, I'm going to meet my business partner. And it's my knee-jerk reaction to call you my business partner first.
Because there was a brief period where we weren't friends, but business partners, and it became the default.
No, not at all. Not at all. I've always been your friend. No, the other way around, sorry.
Oh, well,
you've always been mine.
I have to take your first answer.
But calling you a business partner does you a disservice, and so does calling you my best friend. So I think you're much more than that.
What am I?
You're a massive part of my life.
Oh.
But we speak more than some people who live in the same house.
That's true.
Especially
and now we
house.
do live in the house. Yeah, well, we should talk about that in the Patreon section maybe and go on a dash. We also want to talk about a football match that we went to see.
Yeah, so if you haven't worked out, I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm wearing this as a show of faith, a show of support for my team who did incredibly well this season.
But you've changed your tune.
Well, I just, before we went recording, I watched a little video and the guys were celebrating with the cup and all this sort of stuff. So, look, we missed the mark and it was against the French, and the English don't like losing against the French in any context. But we should talk about that definitely in the Patreon because it was good fun.
We'll talk about it in the Patreon. For as little as $1, you could, for $1, realistically, what can you buy? You could maybe go to a local fair and buy a decorative pine cone. You could perhaps go, some of the Japanese fruits here exceed well the cost of £1, like a fancy strawberry, perhaps.
Yeah, you could throw it into a body of water at a shrine.
You could do that. There's lots of things you could do with £1, but subscribe to our Patreon is one of the best ones that you can do. And over there's a plethora of content, some of which is of extreme value. So I encourage you to click on the link and go there and take a look. We're going to carry on talking there now. We're going to talk about football. We're going to talk about some other things that are just too sexy to mention.
Yeah, you're going to be a little bit older in the Patreon section. You're going to be 32 and a couple of extra minutes.
That's true, yeah. Ever aging Alun. And I'll see you next week.
I'll see you there. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.